Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessed Mess Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. We are reading today from Voices of Recovery, page 1. Admitted we were powerless over food, that our lives had become unmanageable. When I first came to OA, I had already lost 90 pounds, but I was struggling and knew I needed help. As soon as I walked through the door to my first meeting, I knew I was in the right place. I thought I had taken step 1 that first night. Certainly, I was powerless over food, or I wouldn't be here. I continued to eat the same way I'd been eating. I ate all foods, but limited the quantities of my favorites. I didn't have any binge foods. No, not me. Of course, I still struggled. Even though I was working the steps, I started eating more at meals. As long as it was part of a meal, I was still abstinent, right? I only ate 3 meals a day. Eventually, my higher power got a message through my food fog. He made me realize that I was playing with fire, still controlling my food. I had not taken step 1. Amazingly, when I gave up my binge foods, abstinence became easy. The compulsion was lifted. Miracles happen when we work the steps honestly. For today, I will be honest about my binge foods. Yeah, honesty, I believe, is the principle of the first step. All of them are pretty grounded in humility, but honesty, if we don't have the capacity to be honest with ourselves, we can't admit what we're doing, and we can't admit that we have a problem and that we need help. So that is huge. I appreciate how this person talked about, that they were still controlling what they were doing and how that actually made it harder, but that they were doing that for quite some time in the beginning of their time in program. And this just took me back. I recently got to speak at a meeting. It was like a speaker meeting. And I shared on how I even used program, not really knowing it at the time, but I used it to restrict too in the beginning. I was like, no, I got to follow my food plan. I got to stick to my food plan. And I got down to a very low weight. I think it's what I weighed in 8th grade. Not great. But I wasn't binging. And I was wildly unhappy. Dry drunk. That's what I was in those early years, and it didn't work. But I'm still grateful for that part of my journey too, because I learned so much about myself and about control and about humility. And what I shared at this meeting was that I get frustrated and I have a little shame and embarrassment because the perfectionist in me comes out, and I don't think that I have a good enough, hardcore enough, strict enough food plan as part of my abstinence. I want it to be really rigid and really hardcore, and that's part of my disease coming out, the restrictor and borderline, I don't know, anorexic-ish kind of in me. I swing hard in both directions, but my vanity kept me from gaining too much weight. Anyway, that's in quotes. Sorry, I'm digressing. This is not about me, but it's just when I read the OA specific literature, it's hard not to just dive right into my own story. But what I want to be saying is that even though we may come in a certain way and realize we're doing it wrong, that doesn't mean that any time that you've spent in program is for naught or wasn't worth it, or it's all useful. It's all something we get to learn from, and it's all part of our story. Maybe right now you don't know that you're being dishonest with yourself, or maybe you're starting to be onto yourself a little bit and you're like, this isn't the cleanest way, or I'm phrasing things kind of funny to my sponsor, or I'm definitely looking for loopholes here and exploiting them. And sometimes it helps to do that and see where it takes you. Like this person said, they found abstinence very difficult when they were eating this way. And then all of a sudden, abstinence became very easy and the compulsion was lifted when they were able to be totally honest about what their binge foods were and give those up. So I just want to encourage you wherever you're at. I want to give you the freedom to take an honest look at yourself without judging yourself, because that's where honesty becomes really scary, is that we're like, I'm doing this thing, which is honesty, and then we come down on ourselves and say, you shouldn't be doing that thing. What's wrong with you? And you're disgusting, or something like that. That is different. That's not honesty. That's condemnation and judgment. And that's something that I think I know I go to very easily and quickly. And it's something that does not serve me. It does not help me, and it doesn't help me grow. And it makes myself not a safe space for myself. So if you can, give that to your higher power today. Give him the judgment that you feel for yourself over where you're at in your journey or what behaviors you're doing. And if you can, try to be honest with yourself and just look at it for what it is. I'm doing this right now. I'm struggling here. I just did that. And know that it doesn't need to mean anything about you. It's simply a statement of what is, of what's going on, of what just happened. And where you get to step in with your higher power is where you're going to go from here and what you're going to decide to think about it. So you don't have to condemn yourself for what you've done. It's just a habit you're in. And you don't have to judge yourself and shame yourself to bring about change. It's just a habit you're in. There are other ways, more kind and loving, that can bring about real change and transformation. And you'll find that in the steps, and you'll find that with a good sponsor, and you'll find that with your fellows. So keep coming back. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.